True. I read that you attribute a lot of your success to your ability to work harder than anyone and withstand more suffering than anyone. So we can list many of the things that entails. I mean, dealing with failure, the constant engineering problems we've talked about, the human problems, uncertainty, responsibility, exhaustion, embarrassment, the near-death company moments that you've mentioned, but also the pressure. Now, as the CEO of this company that economies and nations strategize around, plan their financial allocations around, plan their AI infrastructure around, how do you deal with this much pressure? What gives you strength given how many nations and peoples depend on you?
I'm conscious about the fact that NVIDIA's success is very important to the United States. We generate enormous amounts of tax revenues. We establish technology leadership for our nation. Technology leadership is important for national security. National security, not just in one aspect of national security, all aspects of national security. When our country's more prosperous, we could do a better job with domestic policies and helping social benefits. Because we're generating so much reindustrialization in the United States, we're creating mountains of jobs. We're helping shift how we build things back to the United States in so many different plants, chips, computers, and of course these AI factories. I'm completely aware that and I have the benefit, and this is a real gift with mainstream investors, teachers, policemen who have somehow, for whatever reason, invested in NVIDIA or because they watched Jim Cramer, bought some stock and now are millionaires.
Mm-hmm.
And I am completely aware of that circumstance. I'm aware of the circumstance that NVIDIA is central to a very large network of ecosystem partners behind us and downstream from us. And so the way I deal with that is exactly what I just did. I reason about what is it that we're doing? What is it causing? What's the impact that has on other people benefit, positively or even through great burden, for example, the supply chain. And the question is, therefore, what are you going to do about it? In almost everything that I feel, I break it down. I reason about, okay, what's the circumstance? What has changed? What's hard? And what am I going to do about it? And I break it down, decompose the problem. And the decomposition of these circumstances turns it into manageable things that I can do. And the only thing that after that I could do is, did you do it? Did you either do it or did you get somebody else to do it? And if you didn't do it, you reason that you need to do it and you didn't do it and you didn't get anybody else to do it, then stop crying about it. And so
Yeah.
I'm fairly tough on myself. But I also break things down so that I don't panic. I can go to sleep because I've made the list of things that needed to be done. And I've made sure that everything that could put our company in harm's way, could put my partners in harm's way, put our industry in harm's way, I've told somebody. Everything that I feel could put anybody in harm's way, I've told someone. And I've told that someone who could do something about it. And so I've gotten it off my chest, or I'm doing something about it. And so after that, Lex, what else can you do?
So given all the insane, intense amount of suffering on the journey of building up NVIDIA, have you hit low points psychologically?
Oh yeah, sure. All the time.
And there, you just break down the problem into pieces.
Yeah.
See what you could do about it.
and Lex, part of it is forgetting. one of the most important attributes of AI learning, as you know, is systematic forgetting. You need to know when to forget some things. You can't memorize everything. You can't keep everything, and you don't want to carry everything. One of the things that I do very quickly is I decompose the problem, I reason about the problem, and I share the load with it. When I say I tell everybody, I'm essentially sharing that burden as quickly as possible. Mm-hmm. Whatever worries me, tell somebody else. Don't just keep it. Decompose. Don't freak them out. Decompose the problem into smaller parts and get people to and inspire them to be able to go do something about it. But part of it is just forgetting. A lot of it is you got to be tough on yourself. Just come on, stop crying about it. Let's get going. And then you get out of bed, and then the other part is you're attracted to the next shiny light, the next future, the next opportunity, the next. Okay, that's behind us. What's next? And it's a lot. I think you watch this with great athletes. They just worry about the next point. Mm-hmm. The last point is behind them. The embarrassment, the setback, and because I do so much of my job publicly, Lex, you do a fair amount of your job publicly too. And so I do a lot of my job publicly. And so, I say a lot of things that seem sensible at the time or funny at the time. Mostly it's just because it's funny to me at the time. And then, you reflect on it, it's less funny, but
yeah, trust me, I know. But you basically allow yourself to be pulled by the light of the future. Yeah. Forget the past and just keep.
That's right.
Keep working towards that. I mean, you did say there's this kind of famous thing. You said that if you knew how hard it would be to build NVIDIA, it turned out to be, 1 million times more hard than you anticipated, that you wouldn't do it.
Yeah, right.
But isn't when I hear that, that's probably true about everything worth doing, right?
Exactly. That is, by the way, what I was trying to explain is that there's a incredible superpower of have the mind of a child.
Yeah.
And I say to myself oftentimes when I look at something and almost everything, my first thought is, how hard can it be? And so you get yourself into that mode. How hard could it be? And nobody's ever done it. It looks gigantic. It's going to cost hundreds of billions of dollars. It's going to take, all this. And you just go, yeah, but how hard could it be?
Yeah.
How hard could it be?
Yeah.
And so you got to get yourself into that state of mind. You don't want to actually over simulate everything and all the setbacks and all the trials and tribulations and all the disappointments. You don't want to simulate all that in advance. You don't want to know that. You want to go into a new experience thinking it's going to be perfect. It's going to be great. It's going to be incredibly fun. And then while you're there, you need to have endurance. You need to have grit so that when the setbacks actually happened, and those setbacks are going to surprise you, the disappointments are going to surprise you, the embarrassments are going to surprise you, the humiliations are going to surprise you. You just can't now you just got to turn on the other bit, which is just forget about it, move on, keep moving. And to the extent that my assumptions about the future and why the future is going to manifest, so long as those assumptions and that input doesn't change or didn't change materially, then I should expect that the output won't change. And so my simulated output of the future is still going to happen. And if it's still going to happen, I'm still going to go after it. I believe it's going to, and so there's a combination of 2 or 3 human characteristics. The ability to go into an experience fresh-minded, the ability to forget the setbacks, the ability to believe in yourself, to believe what you believe and stay true to that belief. But you're constantly reevaluating. Mm-hmm. This combination of 3, 4, 5 things, I think is really important for resilience. And I'm fortunate that whatever life experiences led to this, I've got kind of those 4 or 5 things, I'm always curious, always learning. I'm always learning from everybody. I'm always asking and because I'm humble about everything, I'm always thinking, gosh, they did that so nicely. They did that so wonderfully. I wonder what they're thinking through. How do they, so I'm simulating everybody in a lot of ways, and I'm emulating almost everybody I watch, right? You're empathetic towards everything that they do, that you're observing and respect. And so you're constantly learning, and